Hello everybody, and welcome to the second episode of Equals 8, where we talk about football, anything going on in football, anything big, anything new, anything interesting, anything worthy of talking about. I just want to include one thing before we get started, that occasionally there may be a video not about football, just nothing specific, just in case anything happens that I feel the urge to make a video about. So this week in football, considering it's the first week of playoffs, we just finished actually the Denver game, and they were a lot of amazing games this week, guys. I tell you, a couple upsets too, actually. Let me see. Let's start with the Atlanta and Giants game today. I know many Giants fans were looking forward to playing the Falcons in the playoffs, who the Falcons never make it past the first round of the playoffs. You know, the Giants actually started to talk crap. They, the defensive line on the Giants were quoted saying Michael Turner is nothing, that they will be able to keep him in check for the game, and they did. In fact, his stats were 15 carries for only 41 yards, and that's it. It's an average of 2.7 yards per carry, and it showed. I mean, the only points that the Falcons got was a safety. Oh yeah, by the way, the final score of that game was 24-2. And let's see, that happened. Let's see, that was a 1 o'clock game today. Yeah, that was the early game today. A lot of people were expecting the Giants to win. A lot of people were also expecting the Falcons to win. Personally, I'm an Eagles fan. You know I don't want the Giants to win, but I gotta be honest, they played a stellar game. Brandon Jacobs led them rushing. He had 92 yards. Eli Manning had a good game. Had about 277 yards and 3 touchdowns. Keem Nicks caught the majority of his yards. And it was a very good game. But, I mean, the Giants just barely squeezed into the playoffs, so it was very... It was surprising because they, you know, the Falcons were 10-6, the Giants were only 9-7. I mean, it's not that different, but you know, usually the team with a better record will come out stronger. But you know, final score 24-2 Giants. Giants go on to play the Packers next week. But no, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants beat the Packers. I mean, they lost by a field goal last time. They have a lot of motivation to beat them, especially since the Packers are a very good team. But you know, the Packers went 15-1, and they got home field advantage. So, you know, that could be a difficult game for the Giants. But I'm gonna save the Pittsburgh-Denver game for last because that was such a good game. Last night, actually, was the Cincinnati Texans game and the Detroit and Saints game. The Detroit and Saints game was supposed to be a very good game. I mean, it wasn't a bad game. The final score of that game was 45-28, and there were I don't know if anybody's doing this, but the NFL.com has fantasy playoff football, which is it's actually very fun. I mean, it's kind of pointless though. You just pick people who you think will do good, and you know, I'm not going to get into depth with that, but it's not too late to start. But you can't start until next week. Actually, no, because all the games this week were finalized, so next round is finalized. Everybody knows who's playing who, so you can pick your players for that. But there were a lot of key people in there. I'm gonna start off with Drew Brees. Had an unbelievable year, and you know, it was kind of sad. He really got shadowed this year by Aaron Rodgers, setting all the records and everything. You know, he didn't get looked at that much, and you know, he's just an amazing quarterback, and he had a great year. And he just had an unbelievable game. He had 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. And though on the other side, the Lions, Calvin Johnson had 12 receptions, 211 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jeez, I mean, he's just a monster. But final score of that game, 45-28. It's Saints were 13-3. Lions, who started off 5-0, only finished 10-6. So, you know, they didn't really. I don't want to say disappointed, but they didn't finish as good as everybody thought they would, considering they started off doing amazing. So, next week The Saints will be playing San Francisco in the divisional round. That's going to be a good game. I know a lot of people are going to think that's going to be a good game. And honestly, I think the Saints passing game, I mean, it's not going to be disappointing at all. But they really need to establish that because running, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but San Francisco this whole year, they set a record. They gave up 1 rushing touchdown this entire year. And that was to the Seahawks. And it was either week 15 or 16, I'm sorry. It was Marshawn Lynch scored the first touchdown this season on the 49ers, who were the 4th-ranked defense this year. And, I mean, they were just very good. But that's a game to look for. And then the other game I'd like to talk about is... Actually, you know what? I'd like to talk about the Bengals season before I talk about their disappointing playoff game. They actually had a very good season. I mean, it wasn't, incredible, but compared to, the Bengals that everybody else is used to, it was definitely interesting. They finished off the season pretty well. They had, their key players were rookies this year. I mean, they had AJ Green at receiver, and he had a stellar year. Then he had Andy Dalton. He was a rookie too, playing quarterback. He didn't have a bad year at all. I mean, none of these guys had incredible years, but they definitely didn't have a bad year. And they finished out better than anybody would expect. I'm sorry, I'm on ESPN.com. The stats are being stupid, but they finished out. It was either I'm pretty sure it was 9-7, but they had a pretty good season. And they didn't have a very good game against the Texans, though. I mean, the Texans stomped all over them. It was final score was 31-10, and yes, the Bengals were 9-7, Texans were 10-6. Final score 31-10. Andy Dalton, who I just talked about, had a stellar year. Did not have a very good game last night. He had 257 yards and 3 interceptions. Key players for the Texans was Foster. He's had another great year. He had 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Andre Johnson had 90 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I'm glad to see he was back though. They only had a couple field goals in that game, but it was just, it was a blowout. It was a surprise. A lot of people, including myself, were expecting that to be a very close game. And the last game, which just ended not too long ago, was the Steelers and the Broncos. And the Steelers and the Broncos, it depends on how you look at it, who you think would be the better team. If you look at the records, most people were expecting the Steelers to win. And, they didn't, actually. They lost in overtime, 29-23. Steelers were 12-4. The Broncos were 8-8. It was a home game at Sports Authority Field, and it was Broncos home field. They had home field advantage, and it was just a very, very good game. At halftime, Denver was leading 20-6, and then third quarter, not a lot happened. There was Mike Wallace had a touchdown run of like 1 yard, and then that made it 20-13. Matt Prater for the Broncos scored another field goal to put them up by 10. Steelers then had a field goal to put them down by 7. And then with 3:48 left in regulation, Jericho Cotchery had a 31-yard pass to tie the game. And the Broncos then got the ball back, didn't do anything. Steelers got the ball back, they didn't do anything. And the ball game went into overtime, and the first play of overtime, the Broncos won the toss. These were different overtime rules for playoffs, first time since this happened. An interesting fact, actually, the Broncos and Steelers were the first teams to ever play in a regular season overtime game in '74. But the first play was a touchback, so Broncos started on their own 20, and Demaryius Thomas caught a pass from Tim Tebow they all the safeties on the Steelers were playing on the line. There was nobody covering over the middle, and the Steelers got caught on the outside of Demarius Moore, and he made them pay. A good stiff arm to Ike Taylor, and he ran for an 80-yard touchdown on the first play of overtime. And that was a very good game. So the playoffs, they're looking. I gotta be honest, they're looking. I think it's gonna be an interesting year. The Broncos, I don't know how often they've advanced. They're playing New England. There's Tim Tebow doing his, Tebowing. But it's gonna be Denver, New England. I'm hoping that's gonna be a good game. Teams like New England and Pittsburgh. I'm tired of seeing them do good, and I'm happy to see the Broncos doing good. I'm happy to see the 49ers do good. 49ers are going to be playing New Orleans, and Green Bay is going to be playing the Giants. And my predictions, I think New Orleans is going to beat San Francisco. I don't know how close of a game that's going to be. That could be a very close game. That could be a blowout. But my prediction, I believe that the Saints will come out, and then Giants and Green Bay. It's really hard to pick a victor in that game. I'm gonna go Packers, but I'm not gonna say by much. I'm gonna say maybe by a touchdown at most, because the Giants lost by a field goal last time. It was like week 13 or 14, and they're very motivated against undefeated teams or teams that are just really good. And the Packers are definitely one of those teams. But I'm picking the Packers. Packers got a home field advantage. They just have a very, very good team. And I honestly don't want to see them win. I really don't. I would like to see the 49ers this year. I'd like to see the 49ers and Broncos actually. That'd be a very good game. But whatever happens, happens. But this has been second episode of Equals 8. Next week's topic, I'm definitely going to do a video covering how the playoffs went that week. But leave a comment in the comment section below on what next week's main topic should be. If you don't know, I have a Facebook page. My name is Luke Calder. I am from Bridgewater, New Jersey, and you can contact me there too for anything that you want me to talk about on the show. I will be releasing when my videos will come out. They usually come anywhere between Thursday and Sunday, somewhere around there. But it could come as early as Monday, depends on what's going on. But yeah, it's been the second episode of Equal 8. I hope you guys enjoyed.